We have the most powerful gaming laptop here in the studio, and it is so freaking cool. Literally, it's water-cooled. The Hydroc 16 is from Eluktronics, a boutique brand that specializes in high-performance gaming laptops, including overclocking. So, we were stoked when they sent us their highest-end configuration of this machine. It has an Intel i9-14900HX and an overclocked RTX 4090. They also included their optional water cooling unit, which we found incredibly easy to set up, almost plug and play. Now, if you're outside the USA, this laptop is sold in Europe as the Neo 16 by XMG. And for those in Australia or parts of Asia, Aftershock is the company to go to. Anyway, Sierra, hit it. Show us what this beast is capable of.
In TimeSpy, the Hydroc with the water cooler attached is the best performing laptop we've ever tested, even beating the Titan HX, which is an 18-inch laptop. Without its water cooler, it gets very close to the Titan's performance. In Cyberpunk 2077, without any frame generation on, it got an impressive 110 frames per second at 2560 by 1600. This was with the water cooler. Without the water cooler, it still gets 103 FPS, which isn't too different, and outperforms other high-powered 16-inch laptops like the Scar. This is on its highest performance mode called Beast. Once we turn on DLSS in Cyberpunk, we see these numbers boost to 156 and 153 respectively. Moving over to Forza Horizon, which is a bit more CPU-based, we see it get 153 FPS with DLSS off and 213 with it on. Both these scores were with the water cooler attached, at 2560 resolution with ray tracing on. Without the water cooler, it got 147 with DLSS off and 210 with it on. Again, not much of a drop here, which is great. Unfortunately, we couldn't test the Titan for Forza because we returned it before we added this benchmark to our suite. With the water cooler attached, the Hydroc didn't get that warm during our TimeSpy test. We were so impressed, we decided to run it on a loop for 30 minutes. It still didn't get warmer than 38 Celsius. This being said, in real-world gaming, it didn't play out like that. During Fortnite, the Hydroc, even with the water cooler attached, got too warm for my liking, particularly on the left palm rest. Taylor played Space Marine 2 for an hour or so and measured the laptop surface temperature at 41 Celsius with the water cooler attached. This matched my experience that this laptop feels warmer in actual gaming. What we believe explains the difference in how warm this laptop feels in our TimeSpy benchmark versus real-world gaming is whether the game is more CPU or GPU intensive. As you can see, when we ran Cinebench on a loop for just 10 minutes, this laptop heated up a lot more than it did in TimeSpy, which utilizes graphics. So, whether this laptop is too warm for you will depend on your personal threshold. Taylor, who tests a lot of our gaming laptops, said it was quite comfortable as far as the heat you feel, and in line with others like the Legion. Josh, on the other hand, felt the heat of the palm rest and said that it would be too warm for him. He prefers the much cooler Scar. If you're wondering what the heat is like without the water cooler plugged in, it's comparable to the Legion Pro 7i. It gets hotter in the middle of the keyboard, but we didn't measure it any higher on the left side where the WASD keys are, or on the palm rest. For fan noise, with the water cooler, the Hydroc appears to be about as loud as its competitors, but its fan noise is much more tolerable than most gaming laptops. Other ones like the Scar have high-pitched or aggressive-sounding fans. What you just heard was the water cooler's fan and pump running on their balanced mode, which you can control from its included software. This is great for gaming, but in light use we'd suggest turning off the water cooler completely, because otherwise you'll hear it running. Without the water cooler, the fan noise is less soothing, but it certainly wasn't annoying. The Legion was about the same as the Hydroc in this mode, and the Scar was worse. There are a lot of customization options in the electronic software though, if you want to set your own fan curves. Now, let's dive deeper into CPU performance. Eluktronics packages all these Hydroc 16s with the same Intel Raptor Lake 14th gen processor, the i9-14900HX, which has 24 cores, 8 performance, and 16 efficient. The Hydroc does very well in Geekbench, both with and without its water cooling unit attached. In multi-core, the only laptop that beats it is Apple's MacBook Pro 16 with M3 Max. We didn't have the M4 Max in at the time of filming, but obviously that one will extend its lead further. In single-core, it does very well, tying with the Legion Pro 7i with the same chip. On to Cinebench. The Hydroc pulls ahead into first for multi-core, breaking 2,000 with its water cooling attached. This is the best score we've ever seen in a laptop, and it certainly starts to compete with some older gaming desktops. But what's amazing is that it still places first without its water cooler. In single-core, though, we do still see the Mac pull ahead. Something we did not expect with this beast of a machine is that it was the most power efficient among its chunky gaming laptop competitors. Without its water cooling unit, it only draws around 100 watts for that amazing Cinebench score above 1700. We did some additional testing just to be sure our results were accurate, and we continued to see an average power draw of around 20 to 30 watts less than its competitors for higher scores. We were shocked at how efficient it is, so we did reach out to our rep at Eluktronics. He gave us the following quote from their BIOS partner. It's a combination of tweaks, which in its sum minimizes triggering Intel's internal throttle algorithm, as long as it remains within the thermal envelope and board limits. Translation is, they're running it at a better efficiency level for longer. When you attach the water cooler, you see its power draw jump up to 139 watts. This is likely because there is additional thermal headroom from the water cooling, which means the processor can run faster before hitting max temps. This does drop its power efficiency though. You only see a 15% performance increase for a 35% higher power draw. This puts it into the same range as its competitors. For creative tasks, we ran the Premiere Pro benchmark by Puget Systems. This laptop does great when compared to its Windows competitors, but it still doesn't beat the M3 Max chip in the MacBook Pro 16. We are positive that the M4 Max will widen that lead. There are several other built-in performance modes in the electronic software, as well as further customizations. In balanced mode, it caps its CPU power draw to 75 watts. In that mode, its performance without the water cooling unit attached isn't reduced by that much, and it continues to perform the best among its competitors. If you don't buy the water cooling unit, you may want to consider running the laptop in that mode for more pleasant operating temperatures and fan noise. With performance out of the way, let's talk about the build of this laptop. The laptop is made of a satin finish metal, which is a bit of a fingerprint magnet. Like most comparable devices, it's heavy at 5.7 pounds, but it does feel sturdy with minimal deck flex. Its palm rest is closer to the desk than its competitors, which should make this laptop more comfortable for your wrist. However, it has a sharp edge which negates this benefit and overall makes the comfort level similar to those other laptops that are thicker with a smoother edge. As far as the water cooler goes, it is small and light, but it's still another thing to have to carry, so we'd recommend leaving it at home. For RGB lovers, it does have this 36 LED light bar on the front that is customizable. The keyboard also brings you fun RGB options with its individually lit keys. The keyboard has 1.4 millimeters of travel, which is good, but not as much as the 1.5 millimeters of the Legions. In terms of how it feels, its keys feel soft to press and are quiet. If you're looking for a clicky keyboard that feels satisfying as you press, this isn't it. That being said, it isn't as mushy as the Scars keyboard. Overall, I found it comfortable. The trackpad is barely okay. We're rating it as a 5 out of 10. That is because its surface is a little grippy and not entirely smooth. It uses a mechanical clicking mechanism that goes down quite deep, so you may lose accuracy, and we did on occasion get some palm rejection issues. In a gaming laptop, this may not matter as you'll likely be using an external mouse anyway. The display on the Hydroc is about standard among its peers. It offers an enjoyable 2560 by 1600 resolution in a 16-inch form factor, with brightness reaching over 500 nits. It also offers a refresh rate of up to 240 Hz. The finish is matte, so reflections or glare should be minimal. Its color gamut is a bit disappointing if you want to do professional color work. If that's you, the Scar or Legion would be a better bet. However, the Hydroc does cover 99% of sRGB, so most games and movies will still look good. When it comes to connectivity, this laptop comes with an Intel Wi-Fi 6E card out of the box. This is a little disappointing, but like almost everything else internally, it can be upgraded to a different card if you need or want Wi-Fi 7. Moving on to ports, you get an expansive selection that is on screen right now. Highlights are that the Ethernet port is 2.5 gig, plus the HDMI 2.1 and Thunderbolt 4 port in the back connect directly to the dedicated GPU. Negative is that all USB ports are slow 5 gigabit speeds, and the SD card reader is also a slow one. The speakers of the Hydroc are good enough, so long as you have the Nyamic audio app in effect. With Nyamic on its default settings, the sound is a bit forced at lower and higher frequencies, but there is decent clarity. With the Nyamic app turned off, it sounds like there is a toilet paper roll up to your ear, according to Taylor, and I thought that was apt. Take a listen. The 1080p webcam looks dim and grainy, and it seems like there's a lot of background noise. Battery life on this laptop is disappointing. It lasted about 5 hours playing a movie back with brightness turned down, 60 Hz using integrated GPU only. This is significantly less than the almost 9 hours of the Legion Pro 7i, and yes, we verified this with a retest. If you want battery life in a gaming laptop, there are better ones out there. It does well among its peers in a 30-minute Cinebench run on battery, where it has 59% battery remaining. But in general, these kinds of laptops are just terrible at running performance tasks on battery. Now that we've gone through all the details of the laptop, you may be surprised to know that it has the cheapest MSRP with the same specs in our lineup, and it's the most configurable. When you go to the Eluktronics site, there are a ton of different options available for customizing your Hydroc 16, and the separate water cooling unit only costs $100 more. But it is a bit cheaper to buy a pre-built config, all of which come with the water cooler. The one we have with 96 gigs of RAM and the 4090 is $3,500. The cheapest pre-built model is $2,500 with the 32 gigs of RAM and 4080. No matter how you buy the Hydroc, it's upgradable after you buy. There are two full-size M.2 slots that support PCIe Gen 4. These do fit SSDs with a heatsink or a cover plate. The Hydroc also has upgradable memory and Wi-Fi, as we said. You get a 2-year warranty if you custom build it on their site, and it's a 1-year otherwise. Another positive is their customer service considering the size of their shop. Our first unit had some sort of display disconnection issue pictured here, and they sent us a second unit within the following week. Your mileage may vary, of course, but the online reviews seem to be similarly positive. Which brings us to our conclusion about the Hydroc. It's the best performing gaming laptop in the world, and we think that's pretty awesome. It also offers reasonable fan noise, a water cooler option, and you get to support a smaller shop like Eluktronics. Regardless of whether you buy this laptop or one of its competitors, our website justjosh.tech is the place to go. It has a price tracker that will ensure that you get the best deal this holiday season. It also lists all the laptops we recommend for various types of users. If you want to support the channel's growth and what we do here, please hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video as it makes our dearest parents very proud. Till next time, go do something awesome with your day, and we will catch you later.